Good Monday morning story trading VIPs. I don't see my screen actually. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Let's get that screen up there correctly. 1 second. Let's do this one more time. Sorry about this little issue here. Get that set up properly. Okay. It's on its way. We're loading my iPhone screen from the TD Ameritrade app where we monitor 300 stocks. So, okay, that's back. Anyway, good morning, guys. Story Trading VIP. We got lots to cover. Actually, this week's all about macro. Tell you the truth, we got SPY QQQ. We had the interaction with the 200-week moving average, and we have big tech earnings this week. So before we get into the big tech earnings, let's look at this SPY interaction off the 200-week moving average and look at the interaction with the other key moving averages. So you can see right here, it bounced off that 20 DMA. 1, 2, 3, 4 candles in a row. It's been bouncing off that, interacting, I should say, off that 200-week moving average. 1, 2, 3, 4, a couple little fake outs, but the close was always right above that 200-week moving average. So it looks like we're having a bear market rally right now. And what's interesting is right now, we are gapping above last week's high. Last week's high was 375.45. We're gapping above that. Take a look at these candles here at the highs of 378, 379, 378. That happens to be a pretty important resistance level too, because look at this candle right here on September 21st. 377.38 was support. Then it became resistance on those 3 days. So we're right up against a resistance level in pre-market right now. Now, if we're able to move beyond that resistance level, you can see a target of 50 DMA, 384-ish, 384 about. And if you switch to the weekly chart, then you have 391. So there's plenty of room to the upside you've seen in previous bear market rallies. Actually, this one, let's switch this to weekly. In previous bear market rallies, we were able to make a move all the way to the 200 DMA. Where is it here? There it is, 200 DMA all the way up there. So who knows? Maybe we can move all the way to 410, 411. One potential positive catalyst, one potential negative, from big macro perspective. We have an election coming up in 3 weeks. And if you look historically around midterms, there's always huge movement right before and right after the election. Sometimes you can have a huge surge into the election, and usually it does exactly the opposite right after. Okay. There was a post out by, I forgot which account. I put it on a VIP trading group, but one of the very popular FinTwit accounts that has like 1.6 million followers. And they were talking about basically the Biden administration trying to meet with Powell to do something. They're going to try to persuade him. Now, whether they succeed or not, there's definitely going to be an effort by the establishment to try to generate some sort of rally into elections, which is only like 2 weeks away at this point. So that's on the plus side. Now, potentially on the negative side, or who knows, maybe a plus. We have big tech earnings coming this week. So we have Microsoft and Google starting tomorrow. We have Meta after that, Shopify, Apple, Amazon, Intel, all this week. So all of that can move the market either to the up or down side. I want to look at some of those individual charts. Before we do that, TLT, that's a big one I'm really paying attention to. Even though the markets had a nice bounce on Friday, TLT was down sharply. I really worry about TLT. If TLT keeps dropping, I think that's a bad omen for the market. Even if we get a bear market rally, that's going to increase my conviction that this thing's going to break and we'll go back and retest the 200-week moving average if TLT keeps dropping. So that's something to watch over there. All right, Tesla had 3%. Tesla slashes China EV prices. Okay, and that also hurt Chinese EV companies, along with some GDP number, which is below expectations in China. So the whole EV sector, Tesla plus China EV sector, getting slammed this morning, down 3%, near its low of last week. And you can see where the 200-day moving average is, 160 or so on Tesla. Actually, that also has a look at this level. You have multiple support resists. Oh my God, almost like a magnet. When you have so many support levels like this, I guess it's got to probably break 190 or so, or if you break 190, you go maybe right to 160, another $30 move. So someone to look at in Tesla. I really don't trade it. I know some people of you do over here in our community. Let's take a look at a couple others. Microsoft. This is very similar to the SPY chart. So, and I think this is going to be the same story probably on most of the carbon copy images. Google, Microsoft, SPY, these are all the same. Now, Meta's in a different league in a negative way. They continue to be down. They got some downgrades after the Snap earnings last week. So this stock really out of favor. They got some downgrades this morning. Apple probably going to be similar to the charts we just looked at. Well, a little bit stronger, definitely stronger than Google and the other ones we looked at over here. So, but I don't know. I don't expect great things out of any of these stocks unless we just see a temporary bear market rally. Shopify, man, there's a growth stock that got killed. I gotta wonder if one of these growth stocks maybe can have a good reaction after earnings. They've been down too much, I believe. And then we got Intel after that. So anyway, this is going to rule the day. The next few days, the whole market is going to be focused on all these big cap earnings and any other big macroeconomic. So one thing I want to show about the SPY is the RSI is very low. Look at this. Historically, look at it relative to where it was in the last rally up. RSI is very low. That leads me to believe I'm leaning towards a continuation of this bear market rally. And whether we get good news out of earnings or maybe we get a good reaction after bad news, I think the technicals are lending itself towards a continuation of this bear market rally, but we'll just have to wait and see. All right, let's see if we can get into some specific stocks. Now, on our VIP program, on Friday, we interviewed Rick Anderson of DRIO, president of DRIO Health. That's still embargoed for VIPs through the rest of this week. So if you're not a VIP member, you can sign up for a 7-day risk-free trial and see that interview. Very enlightening interview. We got lots of nuggets out of that, lots of things to look forward to in the next couple months based on that interview with Rick Anderson. So you can see, though, technically, I'm not happy with where it is at 450. I'd love to break above here. If we break above 475, that'll be a nice sign for DRIO. Get a little psychological resistance at 5, then obviously 550 to 560 resistance. So lots of resistance levels up here, but there's a key area, 475. We can break back above it. Hopefully, we'll get a nice flow of catalysts to be able to do that. Now, I want to mention TDOC. TDOC's up 3% this morning because it got an upgrade from sell to neutral from Guggenheim. And it's up percentage-wise pretty nicely here this morning. And I've been noticing that TDOC does impact DRIO price action a lot. So I just wanted to note this as a possible catalyst for today for DRIO. If TDOC happens to have a good day off of this upgrade, perhaps that will flow over into DRIO. Other than that, we're just waiting for catalysts to hit on DRIO. Now, AIRG, tonight, we are interviewing the CEO. 9 p.m. We'll be on Zoom. We haven't done a lot of these late night Zooms lately, but tonight we're doing 9 p.m. Zoom for our VIP members. We're going to be interviewing the CEO of AIRG. This went through a bit of a vetting process, and I thought it was good enough to bring to your attention. So we'll learn more about AIRG tonight. I'll set up an AIRG research group today so we can start collaborating on that. And I know Sanjay from our community said is very familiar with AIRG, so he's been doing some homework so he can ask some questions of the CEO tonight. You can see it's been pretty stable. Looks like it's found the bottom, technically at least, around $7. So, and look at that, over 5 years. Looks like it's at a bottom. Let's see if there's a story there for this to turn around. BCRX, I just want to note it had good price action last week. And if you look at a longer term chart, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, it's starting to look good over here. And it had some news this morning. Orladeo data annual scientific meeting will be presented. Let's see when that's going to be presented. This news came out October 24th. So November 10th to November 14th, we're going to get some data out on BCRX. So this has been very strong, high volume. Keller in our community has been on top of BCRX. You can join the BCRX research group in our WhatsApp community and collaborate with him. Actually, I know it's buggy, but I've been using the app. We just released the app a couple days ago, and mostly we did that for the VIP events and our archives to be real organized about that. But the posting of nuggets, although it's buggy, it's really cool and useful. I've been using it, And you can definitely go ahead if you have a nugget piece of information you want to add for any stock, including BCRX. There's also a chat room for each stock. There's a comment thread under each nugget. So there are capabilities to communicate there. There's flow issues, and flow is good as it should. There's some like little bugs. We got little friction points we got to improve, and definitely needs to do an improvement on notifications. But if you're active in a particular room, it's actually proving to be a really good place to collaborate. So you can check that out as well. KMPH, I want to note because I don't know. I feel like this one should be moving more with BCRX and XBI. 200-day moving average is what I'm looking at. I really like the data coming out. So I've been collaborating with a bunch of folks on StockTwits, trying to find both a bull and a bear on KMPH. And I think I found a couple. So I'm going to try to arrange a Zoom meeting so we can have bull come, and I don't want to say bear, but a skeptic. I feel like a couple bulls who are kind of skeptical of the thesis, and we found a couple of hardcore bulls, and we're going to see if we can put together a presentation on KMPH. Chris brought this to our attention more recently. I think John brought it to our attention last year, but this is something that I'm interested in because of the script count keeps rising every Friday, and their Google trends keep rising for that main drug they have right now for ADD. So that's very interesting. KMPH, I'm trying to get more attention on that, and we'll see what we can learn. SIGA, maybe we'll get a move this morning. Let's see when earnings are, and I'll tell you why we might get a move this morning. First of all, you got a big short position, 11.4%. Upcoming earnings, I don't know when it is. When was the last one? Well, it's got to be soon. So anyway, we got to find out when the earnings dates come for this. But this morning or Sunday, it was reported the first 2 deaths of monkeypox in New York City. Now that alone, I would say wouldn't do anything, but combine it with what I think is fundamentals that are cheap on this, and maybe, I don't know. You see this resistance here at 982 and 970. We're kind of in that range. You want to say that's support, or we could say, hey, you're still moving to 728. That's on the weekly. But it's kind of steady here. It's kind of steady here the last week or so. Maybe it's found the bottom technically, combined with the cheap fundamentals. Maybe this news in New York City, the 2 monkeypox tests will be something that will trigger upside on this. I'm not in it now, but I'm thinking of playing this into earnings. So I want to find out when earnings are. I think we can get some really good numbers and a move to the upside possibly on SIGA when earnings are reported. So that's on my radar. XSPA changed its name as of tomorrow. It's going to be XWell, ticker symbol change. So I know some people are looking for that. I don't have a position, but something like this can always spark a rally. So definitely, if you're interested in a potential trade there, you can look at XSPA. XXII is going to be LD Micro this Wednesday. I was definitely disappointed with the price action last week. It just really overperformed the market for a few days. And then when the market took off, this didn't participate. So a little disappointed with that, but I guess it makes sense. People made their money and started taking profits and putting other things. It got pushed down by the 50 DMA. Do we get an event anticipation run into Wednesday, or are we going to have to hope for a great presentation Wednesday and LD Micro participants to push it beyond the 50 DMA? In either case, I'm ready to hold this. I really like the story here. Even if we pull back to like 104 at the 20 DMA, I have a good entry at $1. I did buy more, so I don't know. My average might be higher now because I bought. It is higher because I bought somewhere around 125, averaging up. But I really like the story here, and man, this company, that management's going to turn out to be liars in a few weeks if they don't deliver. Right? They made a lot of promises. That they said, we're going to be doing lots of catalysts, rolling out to multiple new states in the next couple weeks. They teased like good data coming out of their Chicago test area. So, this is their opportunity. I would be surprised if they would set themselves up for failure, right? Why go out there and promise the market really good news over the next few weeks and then not deliver? So I'm making the bet here. I think this is going to break the 50 DMA. We'll have to wait and see. So RUM, we turned out to be a short-term bottom here at 650. I did play it a little bit, but I'm playing it really, really tight. The thesis here, $5 to $15 price range, and I may have some warrants. I think I sold about 90% of my trading shares. I picked them up at 680 and sold it like 730 for a quick flip. And I also picked up some warrants. Those I didn't flip yet, so maybe I'll flip some warrants. But in any case, listen, overall, the news continues to be good here, and the flow and the momentum and the Apple rankings, everything's good. You got Steve will do it, a big YouTube guy coming and doing a first video tomorrow. So all that's good. The problem is the valuation. This thing's probably not worth more than 5 based on traditional fundamental metrics. But I doubt it gets there. If it gets into the 5s, I'm a buyer. Did it get into the 6s? Yeah, it did get into the 6s. I mean, it's pretty, I don't know. This is going to be one that's going to be a battleground stock from 5 to 15, and it can always have additional downside to 5 to 6, but I think it'll jump right back up. Just too much positive sentiment. Too many bulls are going to push it back up, in my opinion. So good one to trade if you can catch his bottoms. RELL, all-time 52, all-time high on Friday, all-time closing high on Friday. Continue to hold this. If I had a huge position, I'd shave some off. If you have a huge position, I think that's a good idea. And maybe you can get lucky, buy some on a pullback to 20 or something like that. But I don't have a huge position. It's like a 3 or 4% position. So I'm just continuing to hold this. Fundamentals are great. Sentiment really turned nicely on this last earnings call. So continue to hold that. Clearfield, another huge outperformer from Chris Tarbert. We're interviewing this CEO in a few weeks after the earnings report. So again, another reason to sign up for a VIP program so you can see that. Now, Chris is thinking earnings are going to be awesome, and this is going to explode after earnings. And there was an analyst report, and you can see it's right at a resistance level here at the 50 DMA. So this is kind of poised. If this breaks out, I could see a quick move to 117. In fact, I think that's the next major resistance level. We're talking about a possible $10 move on tap as soon as we get some heavy volume and break, I would say 108, right? If we break 108 on volume, I think it's gonna go to 117 pretty quickly. So we'll have to watch that. And COMM has earnings next week. It's peer, so maybe that'll be a catalyst. If COMM has good earnings, maybe this thing explodes to 117, 118 before earnings. Wow, and at that point, you're pretty close to challenging your all-time high. So things are looking pretty good technically and catalyst wise for Clearfield. Identiv, we haven't talked about it a lot. This is an old VIP pick from a while ago. We had a few presentations on. They just announced this morning their earnings are coming out next week, November 2nd. So I think we should have that on our radar and, continue the fundamental collaboration on that, because I think, they're definitely a profitable company. You don't see it in their PE right there. Lowers price target to 19. B. Riley, the most recent, but this is, I think, a very interesting company, and we can always invite the CEO back. We got a good relationship with them. Kodak is one. Technically, it's been awesome, and similarly to Clearfield, it's right at the 50 DMA, and I don't know when earnings are, but I think this is another one I may consider playing into earnings. So SIGA, Clearfield, and Kodak. I think these are 3 that can really surprise on earnings. Kodak had an awesome earnings report last quarter, and I think a lot of the market probably missed it. In fact, let me write this write it down right now. I'm gonna write down Kodak, Clearfield, and SIGA just for myself in my own notes, because I think I may want to try some trade positions into earnings reports on these, and all at key technical resistance levels that could explode if they get some good news. Air, you know what I think about this. Just hold this guy. I mean, this is going to 25, $30. This chart is stoked. This looks like the Clearfield chart before exploded. Can it pull back? Yeah, it can pull back first, but I think it's inevitable unless they lose those big clients, which I don't think they will. So 25 to 30 is my target on air in the next maybe couple months. Could take 3 to 6 months in May. I guess May is when we'll get like the real big news, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happens earlier. NVEC, that's a fake move. Don't listen at $50. You can see there the bid is 53 by 62. So unfortunately, Julian was not available to present NVEC tonight. But I did look at the press release, the earnings release, and it does seem pretty compelling. So NVEC, I still don't own it. I just, it's hard for me to jump into these stocks without a presentation. So, hopefully it won't be too late by the time Julian or someone else in the community decides to come and present NVEC so we can learn more about it. If I have time, maybe I can do my own research, but I really lately have not stock myself. All right, so that's all I got here. Let's check the news over here, see if we're missed anything in the last 20 minutes. All right, let's go to 9 a.m. Actually, let's go to 8:50 a.m. because that's when. Let's go to 8:40. Okay, here we go. Teladoc health shares are trading higher after analysts at Guggenheim upgraded the rating. We talked about that. Zymeworks maintained a buy by Stifel. What else do we have? Okay, so Temis, nothing major. Okay. All right, so nothing big here. So listen, I think this week is all going to be about the macro. I'm leaning towards the upside because of the technicals. Oh, look at that. That's just beautiful gapping above last week's high. Check out these three candles though, and then 384. So technicals look good. Earnings coming up this week. Elections in 3 weeks. Watch TLT. TLT is going down. Oh, look at that. I think we're going to have a gift if TLT continues to go down and the market continues to go up. Raise some cash, man. I think that's a recipe for a huge market crash potentially. So that could be a gift. TLT down, markets up. Take advantage of that. If this continues after a couple weeks, maybe we can nail the resistance levels on SPY QQQ. Wow, just to see TLT down again, that's a danger sign. All right. In any case, that's all I got for you guys. We'll see you tonight, 9 p.m. on Zoom. Come in a little bit early just to set up the AV and everything in our app. It's a little bit tedious getting into the Zoom meetings right now. We're going to correct that soon. So thanks for joining us. We'll collaborate in the rooms and on our app as well. Take care.